Back with another episode of The Crossover with your host, Ravi and B. This week we're going to get into the conference finals, but we're going to wrap up our thoughts about round two for each conference. Ravi, man, let me get your thoughts quickly of just how the series were for the four semifinals.
Hey, man, I think the series... first of all, this is a historic podcast right here because we are recording the Raptors going into the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time.
That is no doubt. I mean, the Raptors finally truly in the big dance.
Truly in the big dance for the first time. It feels good, you know. Back in 2001, we were on the other side of that game set.
Yes, at your place, by the way.
At my place.
A young Ravi pacing the floor before coming out the timeout before Vince launched the jumper that was just off to the right.
And since 2001, it's a long time, bro.
It has been a long time. Wow. Yeah, we got through a lot since then, man.
Excuse me if I have little to no patience with these times.
Exactly. I tell you, I got kids since then, guy. What do you mean? Married, everything. So things have changed a lot.
That's exactly it.
So let's start there, man. Raptors get through 7 games against Miami. Give me your thoughts on it, man. What do you think? What does this mean, man, for the city, for the team, for the franchise?
Man, I think obviously it's a great look for the franchise, for the city. You know, I think, like I said on our group chat yesterday, they don't want to buy our records, but they gotta buy our records. And they,
Death Row East.
Hey, you believe in God? Believe in Toronto Raptors.
No way. You took it there. Wow.
And the reason I'm going there is because I'm watching all the U.S. media. I'm watching ESPN. I'm watching Fox Sports. I'm watching all the articles online, and it's amazing in 2016 that the lack of respect that the Raptors still get from the U.S. media.
I'm glad you mentioned this because I have been listening to quite a bit of podcasts since the Game 7 win, and you really start to see the disdain that they have for the Raptors. It shows up suddenly. During the season as just as the Raptors are an annoyance.
Yeah.
They're very dismissive of the Raptors. Oh. But now that there's no choice but to see them there, it comes out in all its full glory right now. I'm hearing folks that it's going to be a sweep and this and that, but we'll get to that in a second. But, even before this, they didn't really give much chance with Miami, even at depleted Miami. They were talking about, I heard people that had Bosh, they had Whiteside, they had this and that. Yeah, you know what? If they had Alonzo Mourning from 1998, they might have a chance too. It is what it is, guys. They were the 3 seed for a reason, Miami. I mean, it is what it is. The Raptors were the 2 seed. We're like Johnny-come-latelys. And by the way, our starting center was out for the same amount of time as their starting center. So let's scrap all that. The better team won.
I had to check a guy on Facebook today who's, they didn't have Bosh, they didn't have Whiteside. I was like, hey, our primary big and possibly our best player in the playoffs so far.
Right. Right.
That
and this crying about Bosh, when they beat Charlotte, they weren't whining they didn't have Bosh then, did they?
That's right.
Get out of here, Miami.
That's right.
Get out of here, Miami fans.
Yeah,
I see all you Heat fans. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, U.S. media has been it's been pathetic to hear the lack of professionalism in this case, actually analyze and critique a series properly.
Yeah.
As I said before, the dismissiveness and the disdain they have for the Raptors.
Well, I think even going into the playoffs, a lot of major outlets were like, they're the 2nd seed, but they're not going to do anything.
Right.
They're not going to do it. Right. Very dismissive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very dismissive.
Yeah. Has it been pretty? No, it has not. But the fact is that the 2 seed won 56 games. They're where they're supposed to be. Really, when it's all said and done. And, I mean, they've gone through a lot of injuries in their own rights. Obviously, a lot of guys at Knicks and stuff like that, like everybody else, and they fought through it. Their depth has shown, and their top players are starting to play their top players. So, I mean, I wouldn't be as dismissive, but we'll get that in a second. Let me deal on the other side for a second and go across the other side. Atlanta's not even worthwhile talking about. I wouldn't even bother with them. I mean, we'll get to Cleveland when we get into the conference finals. But over the West, I'll just say this about Portland. Man, I've never seen a team give away so many games in a series in my life. There's arguably 3 games they gave away in that series. Game 2, Game 4, and Game 5 to some extent.
The one when Curry came back.
Came back. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Come on. Well, even Game 2 when they had the lead up in there with about 6 minutes to go. And Klay Thompson went off on him. Come on, guys.
They actually showed a pretty interesting stat after that series closed out, and they showed each game and the time, the time of the entire game that each team had a lead.
Right.
And Portland had the lead majority of each of those games.
Portland was controlling the game in most of the series. Like, they blew it, inexperience, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, they let a prize opportunity go. Golden State got away with one by holding Curry out. They got away with it, but Golden State has lived with a horseshoe for the last couple of years anyhow. It's no surprise that this would be part of it as well too. So it continues. So Golden State gets through. Obviously, they were anticipating to see the Spurs, and lo and behold, hey, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. Who picked the Thunder? Damn it, that's right. Now, I actually had them in 6 at pool, but I'm not sure if I had them on the podcast for 6. But I told you, Thunder gonna take these dudes out. I wasn't smelling what the Spurs were cooking for a while, guy. I ain't trusted it. I didn't trust it, and it was proven right. Because them dudes have been a Revlon team all year. I was concerned about it. I bet you look at their 15 losses, I bet you 2/3 of those against the top 5 or 6 teams in the league. Yeah. I already can think about 6 or 7 off the top of my head of just the top teams already. And that sent me concerns when I saw that. How they got dealt with by Golden State. The Raptors had dealt with them. I'm telling you right now, I was not surprised with that. And them old legs of Popovich saving and resting the players. Let me tell you something, Pop. When you get this time of the series, you don't get a chance to rest guys 3 nights. Okay? It's every other night. You can't run from Father Time at that point.
You know what? And they even caught a break with that because
right.
You had the Raptors and the Heat playing every other night.
Mm-hmm.
The Spurs, I think they played game 1 on a Monday, and then game 2 was on the Friday.
I think it was game 3. It was game 3. And you know why I know that? Because NBA TV actually made a point of that. They said that the 2 games the Spurs won were the 2 games in this case where they had more than a day's rest.
They had a 3-game layoff.
Yeah. Game 1 and game 3 when they went to Oklahoma City. The 2 games they won in the series. Oklahoma, listen, all this San Antonio stuff, listen, great franchise. They've won playing championships. But, man, is there another team that's be more hit and miss than feast and famine than San Antonio? It's either championship or bust, truly. You know how many times these guys get knocked out in the first and second round?
Man, San Antonio gets a free pass every year. And all the San Antonio Spurs, outside
of San Antonio, the 5?
Yeah, outside of San Antonio. How many... Like, I want to see somebody come and tell me they're a San Antonio Spurs fan.
You know what San Antonio's like? Here's what I'm going to try. Here's what San Antonio reminds me of. San Antonio reminds me of Mariah Carey. Okay? I say this in a true sense. Successful artist in this case, successful franchise. But outside of, like, a few hardcore Mariah Carey fans, you just wonder exactly who's the Mariah Carey fan base. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with San Antonio. Who the heck outside of some folks in Texas?
Man, we're going all over the map. We got Mariah, we got Tupac references. It's all over the
map. I got no issue with some Mariah once in a while. I ain't losing no me and Mariah. I down with that. Like, maybe he's a pacifiers. I'm down. I got no issue with Mariah. So Mariah fans, whoever you are out there, chill. I ain't trying to throw no shade. I'm just saying that there's a certain analogy in this case that I do sometimes wonder, like, who's the huge Mariah fan base, as in the San Antonio thing too. Like, look. Spurs in this case have gotten way too much. The pass has been revoked. And let me tell you something. I ain't trying to show shade at folks in this case, but I had some discussions the last couple of weeks with some individuals that I shall not name in this case here. None of our boys in this case here. But folks try to tell me all sorts of stuff about Kawhi Leonard, top 5. Kawhi Leonard, top 5. He got me top 5 like Chris Rock. He top 5. I'm like, slow your roll about top 5. You know, because they're trying to tell me in this case here, I said Paul George would be ahead of Kawhi Leonard, and they were aghast, clutching their pearls. So let me tell you something. Put Kawhi Leonard in Indiana. You think that team's making the playoffs? We're even pushing Toronto to 7 games? Methinks not. And I was proven right in this case, because that dude there, I had to put him on the milk carton guy. I couldn't find him at all.
Yeah, I mean...
Where was he?
Leonard, I mean, I said this before, too. Leonard is a system guy.
Right.
He's not a guy you can take and increase the win total by 15, 20 points if you put on another team.
Right. I put on another team. That dude there will be a nice player. He'll get Revlon numbers, but he's not any guy that's going to be carrying a franchise all of a sudden on turning the team around and it's a 20-win team. Like, give me a break. No way he's top 5, man. Come on, man. These guys here have been sniffing that Kawhi Leonard lemonade for too long, guys. Sorry. He got exposed in this series. Because when the lights got hot, that dude was looking for cover. Yep. He was looking for some shade to sip some lemonade. He was done. And, you know,
And here's the other thing with the Spurs. Every time the Spurs win, it's experience.
Right.
When they lose, they're old.
Right.
Hey, you can't have it
both
ways.
ways. Exactly.
You can't
have
have it
both ways. And as for Aldridge's case, you wanted to leave Portland, you wanted the big lights, you wanted to be in the mix, you got in the mix. Where were you? Where were you? When it started getting tight, the Aldridge started wilting like a flower on a hot, scorching day. Just wilting the petals. I couldn't find that dude. That dude was on the bench at half the fourth quarter, man. Like, yo, some dudes out there, you know.
You can bet after his old Portland teammates got eliminated, they were watching that game pretty close.
Right, yeah. That's the reason why we moved on without you. We didn't lose no sleep over that. Yeah. We didn't lose a lot of sleep. We slept easy at night. We didn't lose much sleep. So,
But let me, we can't go through we can't go through the Alamo without Greg Popovich getting some pride.
Please. Serve it up, sir. Please. I allow you. Please go ahead. You be first, my friend.
Greg Popovich. Now, this guy gets, we talk about the Spurs as a team getting a pass, when they have their early exits, Greg Popovich gets a pass. He gets, I think he has a lifetime pass with regards to his coaching decisions.
Wow.
I think he gets the lifetime pass. Because, and not to go too much off topic, but the media ripped Cam Newton after the Super Bowl the way he acted with the media. Right? But no, it's charming when Greg Popovich does.
Right.
So, wow. This guy...
There's layers to that. We'll leave that for their day.
We'll need a follow-up show for that one. Yeah. But getting back to Popovich, you're in the press conference. You just lost Game 5, I believe. Game 5. And reporters are asking you legitimate questions. You're getting snappy. You're asking the guy, you're coaching now? Right. No, he's not coaching. You're the coach. He's asking you the questions. And then in Game 6, you're there. You left. I think he took out Parker and Leonard at one point in the game. They had no offense going.
Dude.
In the fourth quarter, you dragged out the corpse of Andre Miller, and you have him guarding Russell Westbrook.
My God, hold on. It gets better than that. Hold on. He had the Geritol unit out there with Duncan, Andre Miller, and Ginobili out there. I thought in this case I'd get Ben Gay out there. Like, are you kidding me? With Aldridge and Leonard, I'm like killing myself. Never mind the fact that throughout the series he had Ginobili D'ing up Westbrook for significant portions of the game. And like the quote your man shot, that was barbecue chicken. You know Westbrook, he's always looking to eat. And he's like, oh Lord, you give me Ginobili, you kidding me? Good Lord.
Man, that was barbecue chicken, fried chicken, tandoori chicken,
rotisserie. I mean, like come on. Really? He put poor Duncan out there. I felt so bad for Duncan. He put Duncan out there pretty much the rot in this case out here. I'm like, dude, it's done. I agree with Bartley. Come sit down beside me. It's done. And Popovich kept going that well. I'm like, dude, these young fellas just jumping all over him. Like, I was just bodying him. Like, here, excuse me. Let me get this board. Excuse me, Cantor. Let me get this board. He's like, by the time he actually made a move, the man already got the ball and was going up the other side of the court. It was pathetic. I'm sorry.
He got thoroughly outcoached, and then he does the Greg Popovich. He's above answering any questions.
Right. How dare the ask about get out of here with that crap, man.
Like I told you the other day, man. I was like, hey, I'm still waiting for him to provide a good explanation.
Why Bosh is at the bench?
Why Bosh got that rebound while Tim Duncan was sitting on that bench when you had that championship?
Right. I'm sorry. Exactly. Right. That was one of the worst coaching jobs they see that clutch
They had to go take the plaque that said San Antonio Spurs 2013 off the trophy and just get a Heat logo.
That's all I got to say to you, Popovich of the Spurs, man. Enjoy fishing, man. Get out of here with that crap.
Enjoy fishing.
Yeah, get out of here, man. We waste enough time with you jokers, man. Get out of here.
No one's going to ask you any more questions.
Yeah, you don't worry about you. We ain't remembering you. So let's move on to the big four here, man. Eastern Conference, Western Conference, man. We got the Western Conference playing right now at the moment.
We got the West up right now. We got Golden State 44. 32 OKC, so they got a nice little lead at home right now.
I have Golden State winning the series in 7. I'm going to stick with 7. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets a little more interesting, but I think 7 is going to be the case. I think, it's a funny thing going on. It's been talked about a lot since Curry got MVP. But wait, let me tell you something. That dude gets a ton of shade here.
Of course he gets a ton of shade.
That dude gets shade I mean, I know everyone likes to look at LeBron as giving shade, but LeBron is not even like the third or fourth suspect. There's a lot of dudes around the league that give this dude shade. Durant, Westbrook, there's a lot of guys that give this guy shade, man. Because I think these guys think like, yo, you're on a sweet team. Don't get me wrong, he's a fantastic player. He's a top 5 player. I'm not saying that either. But I think folks say, ooh, best player in the league type of thing. And like I gather in this case some of the other guys say like, yo, you're trying to anoint him too much before really they think he's worthy of being anointed as something more than that.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, if let's say for argument's sake that's how Westbrook and Durant and these guys feel. I mean, the guy won MVP last year. He won a championship last year, and then he came back. I mean, I could argue that he could have won Most Improved Player this year.
That's true. That's true.
I could argue so he's not a guy that rested on his laurels.
No,
he just coasted. So like when some of these players, and I think maybe they're upset that this guy's like with regards to some of the success he's having, like he has his organization has put a certain that they've been able to put certain pieces around him that fit.
I think also too is that I'm not sure they consider him a truly complete player for both sides of the court. And I think that's the other thing that irked guys in this case, that, they always refer to him as a great shooter. They don't really say, like, he's not really putting anyone. And it's interesting to say, going back to...
I mean, he's going to be a lockdown defender, but he gets at least, what, like the 2.5
No doubt, no doubt. Like, I mean, I think in my mind, someone might shoot me and say, hey, if I'm really ranking players, I think Curry in this case would be probably the 4th best player in the league, potentially.
So I take it you have LeBron, Durant, Westbrook, and then him.
Probably. I don't know. I'm forgetting someone else. Who else is in that top 5? There's someone else is an obvious person I'm forgetting at the moment. But that would likely be the 3 I'm talking about ahead of him, potentially. I'm trying to think. There's someone else I'm forgetting is obvious. Usually, because when you think of top 5, it's usually the obvious. But I think those 4 are usually considered to be anyone's top 5. I don't know. For some reason, I'm forgetting someone else. I don't know. But yeah, I would put the 3 of them ahead of him. Honestly. I'm looking at it this way. I always go back to this case. If you had to put any of these players on anyone else's team, would they be the same player, and would they be able to help you get the same type of wins? That's how I look at it. So you take any mediocre team, right? And take my beloved Pistons. If all of a sudden now, he's going to replace Reggie Jackson, he's going to go play... he's going to go play for the Pistons. Dude, I see Detroit winning more than 44 or 45 games. Let's put it this way. They'll win more, yes. Would they be a 55 or 60 win team?
I would say they might be a 50 win team.
Maybe. Yeah, I say they'd be a 50 win team. Yeah. I can see a 50 win team, but how many more wins would I be able to get if I put LeBron in that same team? That's the point. That's the point.
Well, how many wins did they have this season?
They had like 40 45 or so, something like that. If you had LeBron James on that team could probably win 60 games with LeBron James.
You think so?
Detroit? Yeah, for sure. He did it 2 years ago at Cleveland. It's essentially the same roster. And they won 20-something games for 3 years. Comes back, they win 60. Yes.
I'm like,
yes.
I might tag LeBron down for a good 15 extra wins.
Yes.
15. I'm not giving him 20 extra games though.
Well, if you give him 15, you're at 45. You give me the 60. You're at 60 exactly.
Did they win 45 though?
I think they won 45.
Because I really don't pay attention towards me.
They're over 500, right? Because 41 is the budget.
Exactly.
So they're at 43, 44, somewhere around there. So they're going to be in the high 50s. All I'm saying in this case here, do I see a Curry on the same team getting in the high 50s or low 60s with that team? Not likely. I could possibly see Durant doing that. Westbrook maybe close to Curry in that sense. I think that was more of a toss-up. But those 2 for sure. I know I'm forgetting a very obvious player in this case, the top 5 player. I know who the 5th person I'm thinking of off the top of my head. Someone else I'm forgetting right now that I had as that you would consider like, oh yeah. But I don't get me wrong, he's a top 5 guy in this case here, and he deserves MVP. I'm not saying that, but I think there's a bit of the typical NBA selling about it a little bit. I think it's rubbing some guys the wrong way, but it's an interesting little thing that's happening in the undercurrent that's going on here.
Like some of these guys, I mean, like LeBron's rookie season, these guys were pushing him as the king when he first came in before he even did anything.
True.
So for guys to argue about like that fact with Curry right now, I mean, come on, man.
True, but in this case here, LeBron was a transcendent player. So that was gonna happen. It was gonna happen anyhow. Like
no, he's a transcendent player, but in terms of actual accomplishments and the push he was getting at that time.
Yeah.
Right. So.
But he wasn't getting the push as the best player in the game.
Well, I mean, he wasn't getting the push as the best player in the game, but I mean, I can't argue that push for a guy who won MVP last year and the championship and is following it up and is the
I'm not saying that in this case here, but I think in this case, usually I think, for example, when LeBron went MVPs, you yourself was still stingy in not saying he's the best player in the game because of a fella in LA, and you still wasn't really ready to give that, even though it was obvious after 3 MVPs and like All-Star consideration and everything else, you still didn't want to say it was the case. This guy's played you 2 years now, and now it's like, oh, by all the ways here, would you like a serviette, Mr. Curry? so I find it amazing that you, of all people, when the writing was on the wall, as Destiny Child would say, a long time that LeBron was the best player in the game. You Kobe stands back there, still refusing to say so.
Now, you've never heard me once say yet that he's the best player in the game. I haven't said that. But I haven't said that.
Okay, fair enough.
You haven't heard me say that.
Fair enough.
Right? You haven't heard me.
You were going there. You were going there.
When I was going, I have no arguments with the push that he's getting based on accomplishment. That's what I'm saying. I mean, the dude broke his 3-point record.
No, I'm not saying that he's gonna get the push. I get he's gonna get some push. I just think I'm not even saying I feel it shouldn't be happening. I'm just saying I think there's an undercurrent going on here in the league that I think is the push from some of the players that the push has been a little too much too fast. That's all I sense from how I hear some of these guys responding.
See, but I don't think so because I mean it's not like Curry's like a second-year player. I mean,
but
he worked his way into
I'm
what
not
he
saying
made
that.
himself into what
I just find it interesting. That's all I'm saying because there's now about 3 or 4 dudes I've heard with some funny stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay. Whereas one guy's like, just a little sour grapes maybe. 2 guys are like, okay. 3 guys are like, We get the 4 guys. I even mentioned Chris Paul too. He's like, okay. And he has said some like sideways stuff. And well, Doc is Doc. We know Doc Rivers in this case put a whole bunch of shit on Golden State to begin with. So that might be more Clippers Warriors, but
we know those teams.
Yeah, but it's interesting. That's all I got to say. Let's get to what we came here to see, what the people came to listen to. So, Western Conference, we mentioned 7 games. I think right now,
Western Conference, I think it'll go 6 games.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's dependent. I think what for the most part what you're gonna get from the main guys.
Mm-hmm.
I say OKC if they can get some. The Ibaka of old, I think it'll go 7 games.
You read my mind right here because I think they gotta find a way that when they go small, when Golden State goes small, which big is gonna be the one that's gonna be able to kind of hold the line when they go that small ball line with Green at center. And you would think Ibaka would be the natural person. Yeah. Ibaka has not really played up to his level as he had in previous years. So
not at all.
Right,
not at all.
Defensively as well too. So can he bring that? Or do they have to go with Adams in this case and try to just pray for the best on that? It will be interesting when they do that and see what happens because if they can hold their own with that lineup, then all bets off at that point.
I think part of the issue, at least what I've seen from Ibaka, is the fact that I think he's grown too comfortable in being that third guy.
Yeah.
And not really looking to improve as such.
But to be fair to him, man, you gotta get the ball a little bit too, right?
True.
If the coach tells you sit out there for 20 feet and just sit there as a release valve for when these dudes drive, what more can a dude do at that point, man? So I hear everyone saying so, but it's like, yeah, but like you need the ball a little bit as a big. I will say this though. I wonder if Donovan will actually go into looking to get switches on Curry and posting him up. I mean, I don't know why. I understand this league nowadays; it can barely blow on man. But how I've seen, maybe we'll watch too many Raptor playoff games because they're letting them play out there. I mean, like if they let them even play anything how they've been playing some of these Toronto series, I mean, I would be putting him in the post with Westbrook every chance I get on switches and just beat them to the living hell. In this case, high water. If I'm Oklahoma City, whoever's got my switch, Waiters, Westbrook, post is Bodie backside in the post, and then deal with that down there and force Golden State to do something about that. That's me. That's old school mentality in this case. But if the referees are gonna let these boys play, there's opportunities to go down the post and get switches on him and do damage down there. Because I'm surprised more teams don't try to post him up. I honestly don't understand it. You know, I mean, funny enough, ironically, the Raptors are one of the few teams I have seen do that with Lowry. You know, a few times I think so. And Lowry's the same size as him, but Lowry's got that stocky physique. They're able to kind of. I've really seen teams actually do that to him, and I don't understand it. He's a jump shooter. Take his legs out, man. I'm forced to play some defense. Like, that's basketball 101.
Exactly.
You know, so I don't understand it. But anyhow, let's move over to the East, man. Jurassic Park heads the Cleveland.
Now, before we get into the actual in-game analysis here, what is the over-under that the Sixth God is going to make an appearance for the series? Because he did not show up to one game in that Miami series. I mean... Hey.
Well, he's doing promotion for the Views, guy. He's doing promotion for the Views. He's on Saturday Night Live, and he's in the LA for the talk shows. Still repping the T-Dot. Now I think things will probably calm down this week or so after a week of publicity of the album. I say he's going to be at...
Game 3?
I think he's going to be at Game 2 of Cleveland.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. I think he's there. Usher, you can tell Usher, man. Yo, just slide me some tickets, man. Come on, you know how we do. I'll hook you up with a cameo in the next album, man. Come on now.
Let me tell you something. I don't associate Usher with the Cleveland until the conference finals were.
Well, you know he's showing up, right? You know Usher's
that's when you see Usher.
That's when you know he's gonna come. It's like, yeah, man, I'm a big Hoops fan.
All of a sudden, Usher's the biggest Cleveland Cavalier fan. Where does Brad Daugherty?
In some ways, he's worse than Drake. At least Drake's a Hoops fan. He just like to jump on bandwagons, but he's a Hoops fan. Usher doesn't even mention basketball, man. Until it's all of a sudden like, hey, we got a winner. Let me get on the screen. So
man, I've never seen a basketball and Usher video much less.
right. That was not burning, that's for sure.
It was not burning.
I think So give me game. I say he goes in from game 2. I say he's there for about 5 games. If it goes 7, if it goes 7.
Well, I mean, Game 3's on a long weekend Saturday, so I'm pretty sure we'll see him. I'm pretty sure we'll see him.
It's a guarantee. That's a nice look too, actually. That's a nice look. I didn't even think of that. That's true. That's a good look. Yeah, man. Let's get to the game now, man. I think, for all you U.S. media and Americans in this case here, I know pretty much this is a fait accompli at this point here, and I don't even know why the Raptors should even go across the border at this point, since it's going to be a sweep, and they should be quick in their boots in this case here, and why should they even bother even rolling up the ball? But you know what? For the sake of argument here, Ravi, how would we actually see if there's actually a series? Let's discuss what might happen if there was a series.
Yeah, let's discuss it. Because, I mean, the last time I checked, I mean, we know it's a regular season, but the Raptors took the season series 3 games to 1. Yeah. So they're doing something right.
Right.
You know?
I think it's 2-1, actually, I think.
Is it 2-1?
Yeah, 2-1. They only played 3 times this year.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay. Cleveland will say they have their full squad, and blah, blah, and these things, as if Toronto had their full squad as well, too. Because Toronto seems to be the only team no one notices when they get injuries. But we digress.
And again, you can't have it, boy. Even if you didn't have your full squad, if we're so inferior, why do you need your full squad?
Right. And why bother? So, I think, we know in this case the most obvious glaring weakness for the Raptors is the defense on the 3-point coverage, the 3-point shots. Cleveland's been on fire. I mean, will they maintain this thing? I mean, at some point you got to come back to the mean a little bit. And I don't know if they will. I don't think they're going to keep at this pace in this series. Toronto does have issues closing out. There's no two ways. It's pretty brutal. They have to be more disciplined on their closeouts this series. They can't be doing the 40-yard dash, running past guys in this series. That cannot be happening. So that's the first major point from a Toronto standpoint. Obviously, LeBron's LeBron. That's always going to be a con in this case here. If you're the opposing team. Obviously, DeMar Carroll will get the assignment most of the time. I think Patrick Patterson will get the remaining time. Maybe for a minute or two, DeRozan might play him. We'll see. Not much, I don't think. But DeRozan actually, in the regular season, actually had, some decent moments. I'll just say that. So I'm not saying they're going to play him. Trust me, folks. I know they're not going to play him. But I think if they're in a pinch, they'll put him in there for a different look for a few seconds. But DeMar and Patterson will get the bulk of this time. Maybe James Johnson might get a look as well, too. Yeah. I think the key men you have to watch, it all comes back to those 2 power forwards that shoot threes, in my mind. 2 things I think that Toronto really has to watch out. 3 things. The 3-point shot the 3-point, those two power forwards, can they play with those lineups with Love and Fry at the same time? Can Toronto get away? Very similar to what we're talking about with Golden State and Oklahoma City. If they can play fairly even with that lineup,
yeah,
I think this series is very interesting. And the third element in this case here, they have their own version of Bismack Biyombo with Tristan Thompson. So when the double comes, in this case, on LeBron or Kyrie, can they stay in front of their man or at least rotate on the weak side to get in front of Tristan Thompson before he goes up for that lob? Or play straight up somehow to keep those two guys in front of them? That's essentially the series. That play right there.
You're really going to have to watch him on the glass.
Well, you got to keep in front of LeBron and Kyrie. You got to find a way, and this comes down to Lowry in this case, I think even more so than Carroll in this front. I think Carroll will do a decent job of keeping LeBron in front of him, but as far as Kyrie goes, I mean, like, Lowry's defense, I mean, everyone's been talking about exploits of all the issues with this player and that player and DeRozan and this and that. What's been missing from folks' analysis is that Kyle Lowry has been pretty atrocious on point guards in these playoffs defensively. Except for the last game 7, where he really got it in the Dragic. He's been pretty... Yeah, and this has been an issue, I've been mentioning all year. This dude just gives guys career highs, man, all the time, man. Like, guy...
Well, we had Dragic looking like a perennial all-star.
Guy looking like he's Isaiah Thomas or like Pistol Pete. Like, good Lord. Like, Dragic's nice, but he ain't that nice, man. Like, come on. Yeah. And, like, dude, stay disciplined. Dude's always gambling. You can't gamble on Cleveland. He's got to stay home on Kyrie. I would hope he would stay home on Kyrie. I would suggest that would be a smart idea. I don't know. He only averages like 20 a night, and in the playoffs about 30. You might want to stay on him. So I'm hoping just the fear factor of Kyrie going off will make him stay at home. Because, yeah, I mean, he has a nasty habit of just freelancing, and it just causes havoc all the time. So hopefully that will be a thing where he stays in front of him. That would be huge. Bench-wise, I think the Raptors actually have advantages. I think that's where the Raptors bench can come into big-time play on this front. I think also the Raptors had advantages also too when it comes to DeRozan. I think in this series, DeRozan actually will have the better matchup in some ways. Because I don't think LeBron's going to play him a lot of times. I think they're going to feel it out. But I think until LeBron moves on to him, I think they have an opportunity to post J.R. Smith up. And going back to my same analogy, going back to Steph Curry. You got 3-point shooters, man. Take their legs out, man. Get that guy in the post. And they finally started doing it in Game 5, I think, with Miami with the smaller guards. Same thing here. Post up J.R. Smith and get that done. You know, if he comes out there, or whoever else they switch on there, Mo Williams comes out there, whoever it is, they come out there play. If they get caught and switch with Dellavedova, he too got to get treatment. All of them got to get treatment in that post.
Yeah, take him down low.
Take him down low and play big, man. Play strong and physical inside, man. So I think this series might be a little more problematic for Cleveland than they think. I still like Cleveland in this case in 6, but I think this is going to be a little more of a competitive series than people think, man. What do you think?
Hey, man, none too much for me to add there. I think you summed it up pretty nicely.
Sorry, man.
I think you summed it up pretty nicely there. I think, obviously what I'd like to see, I think in the beginning of Game 6 and obviously in Game 7, I like the fact that DeMar came out decisive and aggressive. Mm-hmm. There's sometimes he comes out and you can tell like he has an open shot, but he might pump fake, he might jump and pass it. I like the aggressiveness and decisiveness. Well,
I think I'll just say in this case, check that one for the coach in this case here, because the coach finally started running plays for him, forcing him to be decisive. He had no choice. If a crow's curling towards the basket, it can't be humming and hawing when you're in the middle of the lane.
And I saw some really good back cuts as well in Game 7. So
post-ups, back cuts, curls, pin downs. What is that? It's a call semblance of an offense. Holy cow. Welcome to the NBA playoffs, Dwayne Casey. Oh, good Lord. What a joke. Man.
It's funny. I think it's pretty funny that when they played against the Spurs in the regular season, Pop told them, I'll see you guys in the finals. How ironic.
I little Canadian content there. I see ya. Is it ironic? No doubt, Morissette. Yeah.
Basketball sense, I have to go with you. I think Cleveland in 6, but man, the Raptors have the confidence of winning that Game 7 in the first round, winning another Game 7. This time, if they go to Game 7, it's not going to be on their home court, though.
No. But I hear what you're saying. I will say this, and this is for all folks out there, be it U.S. or Canadian, in this case, citizens or anywhere around the world. I'm always concerned with a team that has multiple big time scorers. If you got two or three guys that can make life miserable for you, that could be a dangerous thing or a dangerous team to mess with. You know,
here's a question: is JV back this series, or is
he will be back at some point during the series? I don't think it'll be game 1, but it might be game 2 or 3. But I'm not even sure JV's gonna be a factor as big as people think he's gonna be in this series. I honestly don't think so, because when it's all said and done, when they go with that line with Fry and Love playing the 5, can you throw it down?
They're gonna have them under the 3.
Right. Well, you throw it down to JV to go and work on Love. Yeah, you might do so, but like, I guess what's the risk and reward, right, of taking that chance of Valanciunas out there? I mean, I guess arguably if they do have that lineup there, I would put Valanciunas on Fry. He's less mobile and stuff like that, and whoever the 4 is, Patterson or play Love in that sense. If Love wants to post him up, okay, fine, I'll take my chances with it, but fine. But I think, I can see JV not being part of this. Biyombo might be actually have more purpose in this series. Yeah. Very similar to what we saw in Miami, more so in this series, where he might take on the assignment of Love. Than JV, but we'll see, because if JV's in there, he's healthy, then once he's in there, I'm throwing that rock inside to him on Tristan Thompson. We can find out. Yeah. We can find out about some Canadian content at that point. We can find out. We can find out.
And for all the U.S. media you guys are all over Tristan Thompson. He's Canadian. He's Canadian, folks. He's Canadian. Okay, he's Canadian.
Yes.
It's amazing. They rip on the American players playing on the Canadian team.
Right.
But they got the Canadian player who played with LeBron. He's the best thing since sliced bread. Oh, boy. Perception is a wonderful thing, Brian.
Yes, it is fascinating. Listen to this, man. It is fascinating, man. We'll wrap up there. We are definitely way over, but a lot to break down, boy, over the last few weeks.
He had a great game, but if I see Biyombo doing that Usain Bolt thing in the middle of a game...
Don't hate it, Ravi. Don't hate it.
Hey. Game 7 in the first half, time and place.
I think that reckless abandon is what you need for a man. Was it Bill Simmons called the irrational confident dude? Right. You need 1 or 2 of those kind of ignorant fellas on a team, guy. Too many is not good. That equals Houston. You don't want too many of ignorant fellas.
You can't have more than one.
Right. Then you get Houston. You don't want that. But if you get 1 or so that just don't give a you-know-what, that's the dude. And Biyombo's that dude on our team. He's like flexing and doing the Schwarzenegger. He's doing the Usain Bolt. He's wagging fingers at Wade.
Man, I was like, it's game 7.
He's wagging fingers at Wade. He's hulking out. It's like you don't care. Who gonna tell him something? Really? Who gonna set the Biyombo? Really?
Oh my goodness.
I see Josh McRoberts there trying to step like, really, McRoberts? You don't want none of that. You don't want none of that.
And I saw Biyombo flex, and I'd look at the scores like, the Raptors up by 1.
You don't want none of that, McBob.
You better get back on deep.
That was it. That was emblematic and symbolic of the series, guys. The finger wag on Wade, and then the thunderous dunk with the Usain Bolt. Oh well, we'll see, man. Where can the good folks find your Ravi for these playoffs?
Man, you guys can find me in front of the TV looking at it.
And where else you'll be besides the TV? With your phone.
That's right. At Ravi the Ride on Instagram.
And you can find me as always at Beyond Locker Room, short form RM, man. Guys, take care. Enjoy those playoffs. Go Raps, go.
Game 3 and 4 long weekend. We're going back to back
in Jurassic Park, man. Later, people.